Hey, let's talk about narcissism. Everybody else is talking about it, seems like. Frankly, I think it's way overused. There's only 1% of the population that actually meets the diagnostic quality, the characteristics of narcissism. But it seems like nowadays, if a partner forgets to do dishes once or twice, somebody's ready to slap on the narcissistic label on them. And truly, there are narcissistic qualities, and sometimes there's narcissistic qualities that are more likely to appear in some of the couples that I work with. I work with high-achieving couples where one of the partners is working as a physician, a doctor in medicine, or dentist, or other demanding, high-performing careers. I want to talk to you instead, though, about something more grounded, more important, more common, especially in these high-achieving marriages. And it's what Wayne and Mary Sotile call relationship narcissism. Now, don't worry, it's not a diagnosis, and I'm not trying to insult any of us, but it's very, very common in these high-achieving couples. Relationship narcissism, they refer to, happens when the emotional focus of the relationship starts to revolve around one partner, usually around the high demand role. And not because they're arrogant, but because life has trained everybody to accommodate this person and their stress. So their schedule, their sleep, their emotional load starts to shape the rhythm of the whole household. And if you're married to a doctor or you are the doctor, you probably have seen this. There's statistics that are wild. Over 85% of physicians are married, but a majority of those couples are not thriving. They're just functioning. They're just managing. They're emotionally disconnected. If you think about it, that narcissism that develops in the relationship around the one person's stress level, the other partner that's left at home trying to hold it all together, trying to manage the kids, that focus of that person starts to become on what is getting ignored at the getting ignored by the other partner, by the family system. And what I mean by that is that then the narcissism can shift and that person can start to resent and hyper-focus on what they're doing, and it becomes this competition. Okay, also burnout among the medical community, 60%. And that doesn't just stay at work, it comes home. Studies show in Stanford that when doctors have satisfying relationships at home, the rates of burnout and depression actually drop significantly. So in other words, connection at home is not just an emotional important thing for each partner's, but it's protective to the career of what you have sacrificed to make happen. And this is what I call on every day. I work with this every day with couples through my marriage prescription program, because it's not about blaming one person or wanting them to change or looking at whose fault it is or where we should focus. It's learning how to shift out of survival mode back into mutual support, back into being a team, which is kind of how it all began. So if your marriage feels like it's orbiting around one person, or resentment is building and disconnection is building and you lose sight of each other and all the chaos, remember, this is just a pattern. Patterns can be identified, patterns can be changed. We're going to be looking at marriage prescription, the coping choices, the strategies, and how that actually creates disconnection. We're looking at the power differentiation and how that creates disconnection. And we look at how even sex has been impacted and is impacting the relationship. We look at 5 different key points, and and then I can tailor a program for you specifically. And if you don't want to jump into marriage prescription program, just keep watching some videos for some more educational pieces. So instead of thinking that your partner is narcissistic when things get hard and tricky and you feel unseen, how about consider that you have developed a narcissistic pattern in the relationship where we hyper-focus on the individual instead of coming together as a team. And if that's true, what do you want?